and Athena for the game 1, match number 1 for the day 2.
Wow, just wow. Athena, the panel have been talking about, breaking records, new heroes, savages all throughout day number 1.
Yeah.
We get a big gift here too. Day number 2, Belleric showing up. An old counter to the joy that we saw in M6. Welcome to the Land of Dawn. Let's get right into game number 1.
And with that, it's going to be Fafao and Kala on the gold lane. The former title holder for most kills in a single game. She could try and get the title back just along with this game on number 1. But let's see if there will be records broken yet again today. But looking forward here, basing onto the draft, this is not something that we see every day, especially with this Belleric for Remon.
Yeah, it's definitely an unorthodox draft coming in, unorthodox pick with the Belleric here for Remon. But yeah, the rivalry is still within that goal lane. Fafao last time 12 kills, remember, but man, it was shattered by Kla on a pick that we saw yesterday. The Granger again for Kla, so it's a comfort pick. Though, we got to talk about this matchup because in day number 1, I think every time we see the Irithel, we see most people just stay away from the Granger. Again, trying to avoid that counter matchup.
You just tend to somehow pick the safer route, if ever. But looking at the emblem builds as well, more so we are focusing on the gold to gold here with a Quantum Charge and of course a Pure Rage here for Kla.
Yeah, for Fafao, it's also the Master Assassin, so really trying to capitalize on that winning matchup here to get the better of Kla. But so far, I mean, we got a recall battle.
Okay.
There's Soju flexing, sleeping as well on Remon.
We see you. And Soju and Remon here will just play a very big role. As a panel have mentioned, they were quite surprised as it's going to be a Hilda onto the realm here, Mirko. And we're quite... There's quite a question, how about crowd control? But Zaishi there, sliver of HP left. That's an early impression here for Navi MY.
It's good that you brought up the Hilda, because usually when you pick up the Hilda, you would want to have mid-prio, but that's not what TLPH have right now.
Exactly.
Hani winning out that matchup already now. Ramisi able to play, gets all the stacks in. Electrifying Beats to be ready. Remon walks up, shot pops in a Slime Slam, and it's going to be Reno wins the victory battle. RWM to zone him in the back now as Ramisi's going to be caught, but still has the dashes to get herself away. Now the Lancer Flare from Zaishi.
That's a very good women-to-women formation here. The defense onto the turtle take was so beautiful. Navi MY has capitalized on the global presence of what Hani can provide. And as you mentioned, onto the mid lane comparison, you could do much with Eve alone. Yes, you have certain crowd controls here just to control some certain players here for Zaishi's Jushin, but still you cannot deny that Navi MY just has that boxing square. They could be really useful. And now, onto sticky situations, that is where a Belleric really shines.
Definitely. I mean, now, it's just really tough. The thing is, this is something that I actually spoke with the panel about just yesterday. The Juicin. I'm not really a big fan of it. Hold up, that's... Oh my lord, Soju! Getting countered by this Belleric. Back to the point, the Eve is such a good pick against the Juicin. It's so tough for the Juicin to do anything in lane just because of that lane matchup.
Yeah, and exactly. You have to commit for the flicker just so you could reach Hani, but at least you will be rich here by Arena. And talking about not only onto the mid lane, but also onto the roam setup. Imagine the roamer here for Navi MY getting the first blood this early. And Fafao right now being doubled down by Kla and Zaishi. Even the ultimate has been exhausted here, Mirko.
At least they're able to find pressure elsewhere in the map, right? They're losing out in that mid lane battle. They're losing out in the invades because of Remon just constantly holding her ground with the Rapid Drive. Soju is going to be harder and harder to get in. But Shah, again, Navi Malaysia are doing so well at just pressuring and invading, giving space for Rina to constantly invade. Now already a level ahead of Ramisi.
And their confidence is really reflecting onto their game, according to the pre-game interview, right? And now for Navi MY, this is the kind of aggressiveness that you want if you're up against TLPH. And mostly because you want to win onto the macro. Speaking of the macro, turns off for Rina, Daiki alone here.
This is a strange move for Daiki. All alone now, it's going to be the Traces coming down. Rina looking for the kill. While Daiki is... They're almost turning things around. Shah will be able to pick up the kill. It looked kind of close for a second there, but it will still just be a free kill and a turtle up top. Good rotation for Navi MY, stopping any sort of trade from happening. And Remon, she can take as many shots as she can. It's all good.
And Navi MY just predicting that, TLPH will try and put pressure onto other lane because they're losing onto the macro. And overall goal difference right now starting to build up here onto the side of Navi MY, even though it's just around hundreds, but still a lead is a lead. And taking closer look here onto the plan for Daiki, I do agree that that was somewhat questionable. She didn't have to somewhat contest that one alone onto 3 members, but maybe sort of a decoy just so TLPH could get some pickups. And so far, 5 minutes into the game, still 3-0 standing here onto the close score.
We've always been highlighting TLPH as a team that just does so well with macro, but so far, it does seem like they are being out macro. Navi Malaysia have just been one step ahead everywhere on the map. Good damage on Soju.
Wow.
Forcing her back, rather dry it. As Fafel was able to pop in a sprint and a heavy crossbow! Getting a shot onto Ramisi. Zaishi gets the trade, but it's a jungle for gold. Ramisi is the one you kind of want to have alive right now. Rena's capitalizing so hard on this.
And TLPH is just bleeding hard right now. You've mentioned we're not really that sure if they're going to be in a situation like this, but it's early into the tournament, like it's just day number 2, your second match, and Navi MY finally found a weakness of TLPH. Full-fledged competitiveness here for Navi MY, and not only that, they're managing their lanes so well right now, Mirko.
I like how you get a shot of the trophy and then it goes to the players. Navi MY certainly. They're coming into this tournament as I would say a lot of people didn't really expect them to be a favorite, but they're showing off their skill set here. They're showing off how good they can be. If they get a proper draft, they play their A game.
Even when they were reading comments earlier, right? They were like, we don't care. We're here to play. We play for ourselves. And we are here to stay, right? And for Navi MY, they're saying here, on the jungle yet again, the last turtle for this round being eyed out by TLPH. Will they be able to contest this one? Soju onto the back, just eyeing up Rina. I think this might be somewhat of a turtle for Navi MY. Ramisi is still far away.
She's been able to get the level advantage back though now, level 10 to 10. But Rina, will certainly pick this up unless, Clark close. What that's a nada. It's gonna be a self real world manipulation as well. Taiki pops in the Raven Spider. Remen, we've been playing Raptor to try and locks her down. Remen picks up the kill. Sean back. He's going for the slam, spread, but that's about it as Ramisi clears up top again.
We thought that Clack could actually go and still off the turtle, but remember there's still the directly here for Navi MY. Plus, I like the fact that the Shah just targets Clack on the backside, just totally dominating her, zoning her out, and that's the kind of XP, or that's the kind of glue that you would want against a Granger that you know was the Sony MVP for yesterday's matches. But now for TLPH, they're really struggling. But one thing is for sure, Ramisi is doing a great job onto closing off the gaps, as you mentioned, onto the level. And of course, she really capitalizes onto the item as well. And now onto the bottom side, we could see some pressure happening right now.
Shower the flicker forward, able to get the full stacks on Claw. Actually not yet, that's gonna be the free hits from Claw. Popping it in, Honey! Very aggressive RWM! Punished instantly. Ramisi in the mid lane just pushing now. 2 members down for Navi MY, and the early lead goes down. It's a disaster for Navi MY. A turn to mid lane, almost falling. Remen having to use that Raptor to try it, but a turret down below will be taken by Kla.
That is exactly the position that you want if you're TLPH, closing off the space between Kla and Hani. And now, once they've got that opening, all they have to do is open it wider. And even onto the top lane, TLPH finally got the groove and tempo back, eliminating all of the outer turrets, now targeted in the mid lane. Bullets being thrown out here. 5 members of Navi MY defensive here on the mid lane.
And this is the macro we were expecting at the early game. Good spot by Hani there. Spots on Ramisi. He's going to have to be way more clinical, Athena.
Yeah.
Like, Hani's real world manipulation in front like that was... Honestly, it was quite it. Team Liquid literally just capitalized on that. And I really think it's also just the forced errors.
Yeah,
Liquid have been split pushing so well.
I do agree with you. That wasn't a situation that Hani should have used the RWM, as you mentioned. But she's doing a great job onto spotting each and every bush, preventing. But wow, Arena against Soju on the bottom side. Looking back here on the big objective, Lord up for grab. TLP just hovering over. As we mentioned, this is the kind of aggression that we want to see. And it's happening, but Navi MY just isn't letting anyone out of their sight. Each and every bush checked out. Soju might be chased down, but on the back lane, Clad delivering that much damage onto the Balearic Raymond.
Double Death Sonata. A big weakness of the Balearic is the fact that you are just so easy to cut away against Claw. Death Sonata with the Rhapsodies coming down, but look at Fafao. Heavy crossbow coming down. Claw able to get away. Taiki, bravest fighter. A bit too early on, and that is a big resource that Navi Malaysia now have baited out from Liquid.
That's going to be a big shot goal here for Navi MY, and as you mentioned!
Dive to the back, that's Daichi taken down. Now Taiki as well without the bravest fighter.
Oh, no.
Soju looking for the kill on Hani, but Remen's right there with Revitalize. Claw zoned away, and now it is up to Ramisi to pull off a miracle steal. Rina popped in a Mountain Shocker, throws out the stun. Fafao going to the bushes, trying to read things out. Ramisi taking very low. Ramisi looking for the stacks, won't be able to get the full stacks on it. Not even the electrifying beats as Fafao takes her down. That's a free lord to Rina, unless Claw, will not be able to get close enough. Soju tries to fight, but ends up getting beat down inside of enemy territory. One last shot should be enough. Soju's buying just a bit more time, but she will fall to Fafao.
But still, that was a terrific job for Navi MY. Even with Fafao just going on the bush, on the bottom side, just checking out Ramisi. He thought that she could go for the Turtle Lords rather, but still we cannot deny how much of an advantage you have with a glue, the zoning of Kla, and without Kla, there just isn't enough damage here for TLPH. And as we mentioned, very crucial mistake too for Daiki as well, with the bravest fighter not landing any of it onto the members of Navi MY. Now, the tide has turned into the favor of Navi MY, but what's interesting though is that the gold lead just isn't growing that much. So close yet for TLPH, but now Lord will be marching onto the top lane, destroying the inner turret onto the top. Sha and Gremlin onto the front line, just dealing enough to sustain, just so they can zone out and corner out TLPH here.
Despite the lore, despite the winning team fight, TLPH really playing to their identity. That macro game still strong for them. The goal lead, like you mentioned, Athena, isn't really that big now. Team Liquid are actually keeping their losses at the minimum. And it's due to the screening of Soju. Soju's been able to open up the map so well for Ramisi to constantly stay in the side lanes. They know where every member is from Navi Malaysia. And I guess if we're talking about improvements, that's what Navi Malaysia needs to improve on, right? How they can hide away from these screening heroes to stop the threat of a split push.
And the great thing about TLPH, even though they don't land most of the crowd controls or clashes into their favor, but looking at the items closer, you already have a BOD here for Clap. They just need one good position for her, even for Ramisi to land those bullets. Meanwhile, for Navi MY, this is a sticky situation now. And with that, you have to be really careful on who to target here for TLPH. They could just go and lead on when Daiki uses her ultimate, and that's it. That could be the shot call here for Navi MY. And so far, Ramisi is doing a great job onto leveling up the advantage here for the jungle-to-jungle comparison.
It should have been a whole lot more for Rina, that advantage, but right now Ramisi constantly shoving in waves in the bottom lane, other side far lanes, has given her, you can see that, way more gold distribution from minions. Whoa, Remen baited out, Wrath of the Dryad gone. Yeah, that's where you can see it, the jungle creeps and the minions. She's been able to get so much more compared to Rina, who's really just been, more active, I would say, around team fights. Getting 1 kill, 5 assists. That's a big bot as well picked up as Kla goes on to poke Sha down.
And for Ramisi, as you mentioned, she's doing a great job onto trying to figure out a plan B, taking them out on the sickest situation here for TLPH. And looking at the goal difference, still hundreds here in favor of Navi MY. What we cannot deny, the TLPH just needs one clash into their favor, and that's it. Very crucial for Daiki to land those bravest fighter ultimate, but conceal play. Who are they going to target? TLPH was ready. No one was targeted. No one will be isolated. Soju yet again opening up the map, just giving more info before they try and dance with the Lord. Is going to be the second Lord of the round. Fafao, good hiding spot, by the way.
Great flanking position there. If Liquid decide to go for this and not check the bushes, which is going to be kind of wild though, because Soju, oh no, she's going to go for the aggressive route. Fafa on the back with a heavy crossbow already. The damage! 3-man immobilization from Shah. Oh,
Daiki!
what a dodge from the bravest fighter. Daiki unable to land the stun, and it is all Navi Malaysia. No Daiki, no Saichi in the mid lane. Slam with the spread lands on Kla. Luckily for her, it won't be the mount on. Ramisi zoned away. Rina gets a free Lord yet again for Navi Malaysia.
The 3-woman mobilization miracle was just beautiful. I wish we could see an instant replay on that clash. Definitely Navi MY. With one clash now, the goal lead is slowly picking up the pace, and as we requested, thank you so much for the instant replay. We can definitely see on how Sha capitalized on the space and members just close by here for TLKH, plus Hani with the RWM. Ramisi and Kla can do nothing but stare back, especially onto what Navi MY did there. That was full on macro micro play here. Advantage for Navi MY.
Lord up top. This composition is built for a siege too. So good. Boundary Shocker used up already. Zoning Ramisi away. Kla looking for the angle. Looks for a Daiki. Daiki with the bravest fighter will be able to get a few shots down, but gets very low. Mounted up, brought back to the team, and they fall under the RWM with the Raptor Giant. Catching Ramisi. Zaichi in the back looking for the play with the Crimson Beacon. Kla gunning down the front, but Shah's just so tanky. They've only just dealt with the immortality. Navi MY looking to utilize the Lord a bit more. They will get a base turret and a tier 1 in the mid lane.
Very good plan here just to defend their turret, but Navi MY. Rina taking down, yes, that's half the bounty here for TLPH. But what Navi MY needs to do right now is take a closer look onto Kla. By the way, 0 deaths still.
0 deaths.
Even though she doesn't have the best KDA yet, but you cannot deny the damage, especially onto the damage ranking. She deals a whole lot more when she got that position. And as we mentioned, she just needs someone to somehow take a hold of the members of the front laners here for Navi MY. But it's just not giving right now. Even Soju targeting Rina just so they could balance out the clashes here. Make it easier for Kla and Zaichi to defend. But still, Navi MY has most of the advantage here for game 1.
Wow. Navi Malaysia. I mean, we've been talking about the rivalry, and so far, Fafao, yeah, she's on the winning end right now. Kla, not really the best of games, but despite it all, like you said, Athena, 0 deaths. That's quite impressive. And really comes down to if she can get stacks on the Sky Piercer, because if she gets just 2 more stacks, I'd say she's ready to carry the game. Then the rest of the team will have to maneuver in a way where it's so tough. It's really tough to even consider the win conditions right now for Team Liquid, just because of how many counter picks Navi MY have in their own composition.
And this is the tricky thing on why our panel was quite surprised onto why the Hilda was put onto the roam. You would want more setup, and even Chantal was like, the Jushin does have some, but you would want that instant lockdown. You want more time to really choke them out. But for Navi MY right now, they have all of those criteria, right? You have the standard here for Raymond, and Fafao, by the way, already has the rose gold meter. So even if Ramisi cuts her off guard, she still has that split second of defense just so she could survive. And a lot can happen in a split second, right? And Fafao just hiding out, waiting for someone to take the bait or check out the purple buff. And now the Lord is being danced around by Navi and TLKH.
They gotta bait that Raptor Dryad somehow to give an opening for the Joy for Amisi to look for a play. Rina pops in the mountain, Chakra gets vision of everybody on the map. Soju still looking for the flank. Fafa in the mid lane, constantly getting the mid prio over. Daiki's confused whether she should clear the wave or rotate in.
So many things to consider here for TLPH. They also need to take a look on the minion wave. That's all in favor of Navi MY. And now they're forced to somehow retreat back, clear some of the waves incoming onto the top. But right now, onto the jungle, Soju, half-life left. Still immortality here. You have so many bushes around the Lord. But Daiki Daiki, will he go for the trade? Will she go for the setup?
In the back, Rina's still able to go with the mounted chakra. That's going to be Soju mounted on Claw! On
Flicker.
Oh, she's still able to flicker out with the Wind of Nature in the back line as well. Soju tried her best to go for the kill. Daiki has to run away. No Bravest Fighter. That's the CC immunity. Two-man stun. Now on the back with the Bravest Fighter. Still not enough to take him down despite Claw's best efforts to go for the kill. Hani is too clean with it. Pops in the Winter Crown. Stays alive. And now Na'Vi have a whole evolved Lord marching top.
Frontliners here for TLPH having the hardest time for game number 1. And so far, even though Soju is doing a great job onto giving information, their defense just isn't enough for all the burst that's coming from Navi MY. And now they're left to defend. Navi MY onto the defense. Complete 5-woman setup here if ever. Ultis are also on the spot.
Oh, Rina back. Claw buys immortality or has immortality. Buys a Winter Crown in time. But no, Claw still falls in the end. That was a stompy stomp if I've ever seen one from the counter picks, from the execution. Navi Malaysia are coming into MWI 2025 guns blazing.
That was the kind of dominance that they want to show on their play, onto their game. And Navi MY just capitalizing onto the early up until the end, right?
We saw glimpses of the Malaysian brilliance just last year in MWI with the homegirls. But I think Navi MY this year have taken that to a whole new level. They have literally just beaten a team that most analysts predicted to win this matchup.
Most of the time, right? Even onto the comments of our live stream, there were doubts onto Navi MY's capabilities, but now another convincing performance onto our day 2 opener. Now you see that they are a heavy competitor. They are another full-fledged powerhouse in the making here. And we're just a second day onto our group stage. I could only imagine what more can they show. Will this be a sweep yet again? Targeting and locking in onto TLPH. Their path right now seems smooth, right? And to break it down for you for that game number 1, let's toss it over onto our panel.
LaSalle.
Thank you very much, Mirko, as well as Athena. And even though it was a stompy stomp, but because of the mid-game, the macro coming in from Team Liquid, it was a very prolonged stompy stomp. But personally for me, I kind of feel like the one that really won that one was the draft, right?
Yep.
A lot of outplays in the draft that really helped them out in the game.
I think when you look at it, the Eve and Valeric alone could actually stop the threat from Soju, even Daiki.
Almost everyone from the team.
Almost everyone. So I think that's the reason why TLPH just opted to go for the split push. Yeah. And then there were moments wherein they want to go for the team fight, but it just so happened that they also had the glue firm shot, who did play very well on that game, like doing the split against the other heroes.
Honestly, like if we're just looking at basics here, every single lane, it's a lane win matchup. Iritel against Granger, Eve against Jushin, and honestly, Yisun Shin against Joy that wants to farm fast, but Yisun Shin farms faster. It just feels like they just got a tier above with all the picks.
Yeah, and that's probably why I think even for the possible other option of Team Liquid, which was to gain a little bit of control even, there's a Hilda which could potentially be a lot more aggressive. It could scout a bit more. There could be some information here and there, but they can't do that. And the moment they weren't able to get the turtle, I feel like that's where they just accepted their fate to just rely entirely on the macro.
I just noticed Raimundo ended the game with 2-0 and 14, and she's the roam. She decided, I'm the carry now. I'm not going to die.
Yeah, there were moments wherein the Ancient Seed was used masterfully by Raimundo here. Imagine, you have players from Team Liquid, PH that wants in for the dive. You have the Ancient Seed, and then everyone is just taunted. And then the team fight stops there for TLPH. And then Navi MY, they have the Yisun Shin. They have the Iritel. And if you look at the hero composition of TLPH, there's no really crowd control.
Yeah, and I guess that's also why Fafao had such a great time.
Yeah.
There was no need for Fafao to get the Purify. There was no need for Fafao to be too mindful of her positioning.
Yeah.
But still she was. And there were moments where she literally put herself in hidden spots just to be the one to surprise Team Liquid because she knew that there was no one that could potentially stop her. Zaishi, the possibly only crowd control, was too busy zoning other members and doing other stuff.
Yeah, if we're looking at TLPH, they really have a lot of chase, but they don't have any kind of lockdown because when it comes to the later stages of the game, you have to make the tough decision. Who do you want to target? Do you want to target the Eve? Do you want to target the Irritel? Do you want to target the Yis and Shin? And at late game, every one of them is a threat.
Yeah, and we saw earlier that there's a huge difference in terms of the damage dealt for the players, probably because of the way that they can initiate and actually stop or end the team fight. So we could see here the difference in terms of gold.
Not that much, honestly.
Not that much, yes, but I think it's more on the execution or like the opportunity for TLPH to win a team fight. I feel like, yes, they have the items for Kla, even for Ramizi, but I think it was not even half of the damage of Kla that Ramizi was able to deal against the players of Navi MY.
Yeah, there were no deaths from Kla in the game, at least leading to that last push done by Navi MY, but they needed damage, they needed a way to come back, and that clearly was something they were not able to achieve just yet. So Navi MY, even with the lineup that could probably have the better late game, so that's when you know that it's just so tough for Team Liquid.
So let's go step by step. I want to talk about the changes that they could make, but for now we're gonna look at the head-to-head of the EXP laners here, just to see when an EXP laner does well, the jungler does well as well. So now we gotta look at Sha as well as Daiki. 12 average KDA against 0.33. Daiki really didn't have a great game for this one, and I don't know, did she herself make a mistake or did Navi MY just punish her every single time?
It's just the skill set, the difference in skill set for their heroes. I think there was a time. This
that
perfect
one.
example. This moment, she uses a bravest fighter, and then she just realized, okay, I'll just die here anyway.
It was slightly miscalculated because she almost got it. I probably, if like there wasn't a backup or if there wasn't a bodyguard alongside Rina at the time, but even then it could only do so much because in the other parts of the map that wouldn't guarantee that they'd be completely winning out just yet.
Yeah, really holding the name of the ultimate bravest fighter. She really showed that she was brave, but it came to a point where it becomes almost predictable by Navi MY. It's like we save our skills, so when she dives in, we just punish her, and that's what we saw in this game. So while we're looking at the highlights here, Chantel, what do you think TLPH really needs to adjust? Because let's remind ourselves, winner will be the first team to qualify to the knockout stage.
I believe for TLPH, this is the time we're in it. They don't really want to overcomplicate things in terms of draft. The Lapu-Lapu last pick, it's something that we didn't really expect coming from TLPH. Even the prioritization of the Hilda was somehow questionable.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, it's more on the priority and the sequence of the heroes that they would choose.
Yeah, if any, there were some teams who really didn't care about the sequence, but they had plans in mind. They knew what had to be done. That was the time where I believe it was Onyx picking up that lineup,
Slowly building up,
and then we had so many questions in mind, but heading into the game, we see that they had 4 ruptures. So it was the early they were after all. But this was different because they had no direct answers. They had no clear answers to the numerous problems that we already saw coming from the draft itself.
Speaking of the draft, I kind of feel like we got to talk about this where not all flexible picks are created equal, because when we're looking at jungle, roam, and EXP, that's the one where there's a lot of flexibility, but not every hero is a 10 out of 10 flexible. Something like a Hilda, I would say, is only like a 2 out of 10. Like on the EXP, she's great, but in the roam, it's very conditional. So I kind of feel like for the teams prioritizing a very flexible pick, you really got to think about it. How flexible is it really?
Yeah, if they are to choose a flexible hero, they have to make sure that it will check on all the points that is needed up against a specific team, because Navi MY is also known to be a team that is good at macro, even initiating team fights. And just because I think the story behind, or the reason behind the Hilda pick was because of the YSS, but it just ticks the box against the YSS, and there's no really answer to the rest of the problems for TLPH. So too early for the Hilda. Could have been an EXP lane, or probably another EXP lane that has more to give in a team fight.
Yeah, because earlier, Navi MY felt like they already saw the immediate answer from Team Liquid Philippines, and they were just able to draft better around the Yi Sun-shin. So, I mean, the Yi Sun-shin Prio is a different story. That's a power pick nowadays. So, yeah, I believe that's also what Team Liquid Philippines definitely needs to work on.
Now I want to talk about Kla, because in that game, even though she didn't get as much kills as she got yesterday, but still, her positioning is very, very good. Now, she got the Granger early, but then eventually got countered out by the Irithel. Do you guys feel like maybe it's a good idea just to delay her pick, maybe even the third pick, so that you can have the bans later on?
Yeah, that's a good point actually, because knowing that both gold laners have a larger hero pool, right? So I think, yeah, that's a good option also for TLPH, so that they can have other heroes that could actually support Kla, because Kla alone can play individually in a safer manner, wherein she's not a player that needs to be tended to.
I mean, even just yesterday, she was one of the players confident enough to bring out the Harith in like current meta, and she was able to play that relatively well. So I believe Kla also has like a multitude of options to choose from if ever they are forced to that point, which is again all about the sequence, I guess, because even the mid laners, right? We were talking about it earlier. Like, oh, it was so surprising to see all the mid laners just come in the second phase of the draft.
Yeah, Kla is amazing, but we still have to remember this is a 5v5. You need a proper support, proper peel, proper distance given to the players to be able to actually contribute into the fight. So we're going to jump into the draft very, very soon. So I kind of feel like we're all in agreement that TLPH, they can give out very amazing drafts against Navi MY, where they're known to have a larger hero pool as well. They just got to be careful not to get trapped, right? Because if there's a possible counter, then it's a possibility that Navi MY will pick it up, even the Belleric.
Yeah, we were all agreeing during the game while watching that Belleric answers everything that TLPH has. So knowing that this is the threat from Navi MY, I think for Coach Moody, since he's also a coach for MDL that has a lot of like hero
global bans,
the global bans, right? So I think this is where he could change things up coming to game number 2, or probably change the dynamics even for Kla, because I think they're focusing too much on having Kla as the center of the damage. So there's no really way for Ramisi. Yes, they had the Joy, but the Joy earlier, if stopped in terms of the jungling pattern, is just forced to go for the split push.
Yeah, and Navi MY clearly was the more successful one to do that earlier in game number 1, even despite just having the Belleric and the glue. That's so surprising in itself, because it was Team Liquid who had the Hilda, and I feel like you could just immediately associate the Hilda with disrupting so much from Navi MY supposedly, but that wasn't entirely the case.
And now we're jumping into the draft here, where Team Liquid, this time they're going to be first pick, and Navi MY, they will be the second pick. So in this situation, they do have priority in actually getting some setup or win condition on for themselves, maybe even an opportunity to take away the Yi Sun-shin.
Yeah, Yi Sun-shin, good point. I think if Navi MY bans out the Yi Sun-shin, then there's the answer for TLPH. It means that Navi PH works around a jungler like YSS, so they would have a better idea on that. But anyway, TLPH, they're banning out the usual heroes, Farsa and Wama even. Farsa meaning they still want Kla to have somehow safer area in terms of the laning.
I am leaning towards the idea that Team Liquid Philippines might want to revert back to the more common comfort picks, similar to the Fredrins and all that, for their draft. heading into game number 2. I feel like that's something more familiar to them. Also, granted the bans that we have so far.
Speaking of bans, I think this game, Uranus and even Baksha,
Yeah, that's
will
true.
be open,
That's
and it is open. That has been a trade here for Navi MY. Okay, we ban still the Harith and have TLPH choose between those two heroes, even YSS, and then they get the better trade because Baksha, they got it, and then Uranus YSS.
It's an amazing opening. Even our draft Brigida, I started with Baxia, and I was very happy with the draft that I got. And yeah, Baxia is a very good opener. And now it comes to the question where you just don't know where this Baxia is going. Is it going EXP? Is it going roam? Is it going jungle? This is one of those heroes that, personally for me, is like an 8 out of 10 in terms of flexibility. It legit can go anywhere.
Oh, okay. Never mind the YSS.
Speaking of which, this Lancelot was the one that Rina used to destroy Gaming Gladiators yesterday, using twice straight.
Rina, I think, is one of the most proficient assassin junglers that we have out
Oh, I
there.
think I know why. I'm looking at the draft right now, and there's not too many lockdown heroes. Like the Kali is not there, the Badang is not there, and they took away the Gatot Kacha, and there's the Phobias like you predicted, and now the Moscow. So now there's more crowd control. But I wonder if this was a bait.
Okay.
Still no mages again.
Sorry, I'm surprised because I think Navi MY is trying to replicate their draft from yesterday. They have the Lancelot, Gatot, and CC for game number 1. Although Harith won't be taken here, even Parsa, so they're just changing some of the areas. But definitely, this is like their comfy or comfortable hero composition. This 3.
I see. And it kind of, like, wherever the CC goes, whatever you put in the XP lane, it feels like they're happy with that matchup already.
This is a combo that happens in Malaysia a lot as well. CC as well as Gatot Kacha, where CC locks people down, and then it's a free ult for the Gatot. Yeah, so it's one of those very annoying things that you see in rank, and even though it's in rank, it's very much viable in professional play.
Yeah, and I think Navi, they are also still considering the idea that the Vaksha might not just be the jungler just yet, because they took out the Suyo. So maybe there is still a chance that we get to see the Frederick I did mention earlier, but I feel like they need
Too much of the
the
sustain.
mage.
They need
that
a lot of
has
damage.
Yeah,
in
they
it,
need a lot of damage lacking on since if they are
If ever,
leaning
yeah.
towards
But they're
the
banning the
sustain.
carry, so maybe
There's a chance here.
maybe because they banned the carry.
And
Yeah,
they
I
banned the what if it's just Alice without the Angela all over it? Because they did it yesterday. That did not have the Angela beside the...
I think that's a possible route because Zetian is still open. So you could have Zetian and Alice as of 2 final picks. So they will have equal for both physical and magic. Although too much on magic, maybe.
Like I said, no such thing.
there are no such-
No such thing as too much magic, man. As a roamer, we need a magic resistant update. But either way, right now the final bans coming in for Team Liquid. They gotta be careful because Navi will have the priority here, and I feel like the priority is going over to the mid unless it's gonna be something very flexible. They banned out the Bruno as well, so they want to make sure that the Moskov has a good matchup. But honestly, there's still a lot of gold laners still open, even the likes of Granger.
Granger, Brody, even.
Irithel too. It's still
Irithel, yeah, in terms of mobility.
Bane.
And why not?
I mean, who knows, right? Yeah.
Oh, the last time they did meet each other though in the qualifiers, they used Bane twice in a row.
Yeah.
And we have
The Selena, the
Selena.
honey special.
Okay.
So you were talking about how TL should really go for comfort. Maybe Navi heard that is like, hey, that's a good idea.
Oh
we
my!
can see the smiles on their face now. And I think there's a story with the Selena of Honey,
Honey.
wherein even male pro players know that they shouldn't give her.
Yeah, they're like,
Selena.
ban it out. Don't let her have that Selena. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not gonna be an option. But now Team Liquid Philippines, they still have chances to find a way to work around this. If I were the Fredrin in this situation though, I would feel bad. Like they're
Yes, I will be like, are you sure, coach? I mean, I don't mind being a punching bag,
but maybe not anymore. Okay,
yeah, so
okay.
the Hayabusa and the Zitian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe there was a switch on a TLPH side. I think they were really looking forward to have a sustained
Yeah, they probably
jungle.
were.
But then again, they saw that Selena and it is Honey that is using it. So, yep, Hayabusa is a good option here, or a nice choice for TLPH rather than having sustain. It's just that the only target for the Hayabusa mid transition into late game is gonna be the Selena and probably the gold laner of Navi MY, because you can't really burst out a CZ as early as possible. Gatot even the Lancelot can escape.
Yeah, not unless the laning goes well for Zai, I guess. I mean for Daiki. But they wrap it up with the Granger, and yeah, because the Lancelot, there's too many iframes, so might not be the best option. But let's see how it goes. For Team
Yeah, right
Liquid.
now we can definitely see for Navi MY there is a lot of burst and a lot of control here. So TL, they really have their work cut up for them. I want to see how fast they rotate. So thank you very much, Chantel, as well as Brigida. But now it's time for me to pass it over to Mirko and Athena to continue on casting the second game in the series. We'll see. Will it be a 2-0?
Thank you, Lafel, Chantal, and Brigida. And now, it's going to be the Battle of Redemption versus the dominance of Navi MY for game number 2. Let's head on over onto the Land of Dawn. It's me, Athena. Together with me is Mirko. What can you say about that draft, Mirko? Specifically eyeing out a certain hero here for Navi MY.
Right now, all I can say is choo-choo, because it's a train, Navi. They've literally built themselves a train. Now, it depends what kind of train they want. If they get a snowball early, this is going to be a bullet train. It'll be going through the map super fast. But
Definitely.
if they fall behind, this is going to be one of the trains that actually, gets derailed real quick. TLPH have a pretty okay composition to hold back, to weather the storm. It really just comes down to if Navi Malaysia, again, get that snowball early, because, yeah, this composition is kind of nasty if they do get a snowball.
So in short, TLPH needs to find a way to derail this bullet train. I do believe it's going to be a bullet train, especially with what Hani is doing. And as Chantal have mentioned, even most pro players, men pro players, bans out the Selena here for Hani. I was just supposed to say Hani for Selena. But still, you're on the mid lane. Early skirmishes here for Soldier and Ramisi.
The taunt over. Oh, first blood already for Rina. And hey, Athena, I just had a conversation with Rose outside of the talent lounge. She was already hopping out Rina. She's like, yeah, Rina, she's an upgrade here for Navi MY. Like, if she was there from last year, they would have beat Smart Omega Empresses. So, hey, shout out to Rose.
Yeah, and definitely we're seeing it. First blood. Plus, yesterday, they totally destroyed, am I right? GG with this Lancelot. Sweep with Rina's Lancelot, right? And now with Hani playing on to the Selena. Yet again, game 2 Selena here for Hani. They just want to go for the sweep here. Navi MY definitely for TLPH needs to watch out. They need to watch out for their tempo here. Crucial crowd controls here for Zaishi, even the ultimate as well with a Fury of Phoenix. But right now for Navi MY, fast-paced action here. Rotation on the first turtle. Soju getting hit hard.
Abyssal Arrow landing too. Massive stun coming down to the back as well. But now look at Daiki with the Infernal Pursuit. Ramisi gets a kill back. 2-1. Navi Malaysia caught in the tough spot. That's the power of the Phobias early during turtle takes.
That's what you want for Daiki, even though she doesn't land the Infernal Pursuit. But the Dark Wave really matters. Just so she could just zone him out, slow him down. Rina taken down here. Daiki just regaining some of her confidence from game 1's Lapu Lapu.
Yeah, and it could also just be a rare case or a very, very common case of a caster curse. Right as we compliment Rina, we get to see a death.
Maybe it's a mere curse.
Hey,
2.0.
man. Hey, you know what? My bad. Lafel, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I cursed the girls, man.
And even Rose.
And I'm
You
sorry,
have to
guys.
say sorry.
I'm sorry. Both teams are equally good.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you want, we won't say their names, but we have to.
Yeah.
We really have to. And going back here for TLPH, regaining some of those accomplishments on the dominance, And even Gladier just picking off a hero which have much freedom that she needs in terms of positioning, and of course if she is needed under a certain clash with a Sphere of Destruction. But right now, onto the farming. What's up? Is it going onto the favor of Vincere right now?
I think so far it's actually quite even still between the junglers, right? Like, Vincere has a level lead, I think mainly just because of the neutral objective take. So,
yeah.
Rina should be able to even it out a bit more. It comes down to turtle number 2, I'd say. Like, that's going to be the real determining neutral objective to see who actually will get the massive advantage. Because once Vincere gets it, if she gets it, that's going to be a big lead.
But actually, for TLPH, they ain't scared of this Selena, right? They just open it up even for the draft for game 1. Wait a second. Did we see the right? The flicker here for Fafao this early.
Yeah, a bit of panic there, definitely. Seeing Kla walk up aggressively on the Moscow.
Yeah.
Definitely strange, you know? You won't expect a weak side laner to be walking up aggressively. And turns out it was right. She was right. Vincere was around the corner. It's just, was it too early to show that flicker to pop it out? Now Navi Malaysia looking to struggle. Phobius already rotating the turtle.
Okay, going to be set up here. Further pursuit activated. Dark Wave is also there. Just getting a lot of damages in here. Sphere of Destruction hitting no one.
With AOG, look for the ult as well. Oh, Zaichi picks up the kill as Rina jumps in with a puncture. Fafao gonna be caught in the back now. Goes into the Rhapsody, but Remen gets Spear of Misery pinned down to the wall. Rina gets a kill back from Vincere. Is gonna go for the poke through Rose, but gets caught by the Shurikens. And Team Liquid continue that early lead and now capitalize on it. 2,000 gold lead up.
Fled onto the second turtle. Might be the deal setter here for their junglers, but not only that, also onto the laning. Just wow for Team Liquid. A very nice layer there for Daiki and as well as Soju right there. But let's take a closer look here onto our instant replay. The jump cut from Daiki. We understand that Remond has to go for the AOG, but what they didn't expect was the damage here being layered properly by TLPH.
Uh-oh. An attempt from Daiki, good zoning. Gets the job done. Daiki walks back up.
Oh,
very aggressively.
that is nice. But shades up as well. Like, she's looking at them eye to eye like, what you gonna do? You should just back away now, girl. You don't have the flicker. But for Team Liquid, that is the kind of swag that we want. And now they have a huge lead. That's 3.4k gold lead right now. 5 or 6 minutes into the game. Navi MI still has a chance. You cannot eliminate the fact that this is one of the best picks for Hani. Still stable here with the 003 KDA. But looking at the gold difference, all of it is in favor of all the roles here or lane for Team Liquid.
Oh, yeah. So far, this train has looked kind of derailed, you know? Team Liquid has done a good job weathering the storm, actually utilizing the storm to their advantage.
Exactly.
They've been winning the early game, a 3,000 gold lead. Really good abyssal arrows from Hani, but there's just not much they can do with it, right? Like, every time it lands, it's just poke. They can't all in onto Soju. They can't all in onto Daiki. And the Phobius gets actually quite a bit of value whenever the Selena walks up. You get those stacks or that the passive even faster.
And that's just what she wants exactly, right? And for Navi MY, they know that also. That's why they're just continually finding a way to reach somehow Zaishir and even Vincere. But Vincere is someone that you wouldn't want to waste so many resources at, right? And for Navi MY, they need to balance out some of the lanes because for TLPH, even though nothing is happening yet, look at the top lane. There's just Glad doing her job. And now last turtle of the round, Soju on the front line and 1v1 on the gold.
SOD into the front as well. Good flicker up from Fafao. Challenging for an angle to go for a tier 2 and be following with the turtle as well. Now Rina trying to go for the steal on the turtle. Remen able to get away with the top, but now it's going to be the vengeance popped in. Shot brought back by the dark wave, and Zaishi gets the killing spree. Abyssal arrow landing, but it's only onto Daiki. The orange buff. An attempt to take it away. Clock gets it. The Rose and the phantom execution in the front. AOG. They're trying to save her. Clock gets away with the help of Daiki.
What a move here for Kla. Definitely want to go for the flawless record yet again. And for TLPH, they're just doing it. They're just sticking together. So even though an arrow, abyssal trap hits, Hani has no choice but to just back away. They couldn't just dive in straight ahead here for TLPH. And now They're just fully utilizing the advantage that they got, and Kla doing a great job yet again onto pushing off the initiator and on the bottom side. Hani going in. Oh no!
4 members on the pin down and the shredding shots coming in for the Moskov Claw.
Ramisi and Rina.
1v1 up top. Ramisi gets the better of Rina, but Rina is able to get away, just barely. Luckily, they still had the Holy Defense down below, but they're not going to have a tier 2 for any longer.
Yeah, and a bit of a struggle here to put some stacks onto Fafao's
Never mind.
Sky Purser, by the way. And looking at the trio here, Trinity rather, here for class itemization. Beautiful build, by the way, DHS onto the third. Meanwhile, a huge power struggle here onto the mid laners.
Yep.
We couldn't fill the damage yet for Hani. And prioritizing, of course, the Enchanted Talisman for the City Reduct. But as we could see, even though she's landing perfectly onto the arrows, they just couldn't burst down anyone yet from Team Liquid.
Yeah, that's a 2,000 gold lead between the gold laners. Like you said, the 3-item power spike.
Yeah.
And it's just strange to see, right? Because usually you would see this lead on a Granger, especially at this point of the game.
Yep.
It's a Granger that has to go for a trade with Redmond protecting her. Free neutral objective, and it's a big one. The SOD gets shot down. Redmond's recall gets cancelled. Oh, she takes it too. Just gets a free teleport down below to manage the waves and to go in for a 3-way push.
Yeah.
Great shield unity to dodge away from the Abyssal Arrow too. And Navi Malaysia, hey, this is a big concern. Their wave clear is not really good.
Yeah, and definitely it will be a hard defense if ever, because Team Liquid is just capitalizing with the clearing of each and every lane. They want it onto the same time. The Lord marches onto the top side. So most probably Navi MY needs to rethink. They know who to target, but right now it's not really giving. And right now onto the mid lane, we have Soldier with Shield Unity. Sha as well is really struggling.
Oh my god!
And Hani!
Shadow kill the back as an assassination on the mid and the gold lane. Fafao and Hani fall into the shadow kill of Ramisi. Claw having a blast down below, just piercing through the HP bars of Navi MY.
Okay, they're continuing. Soju just roaming around here onto the base. Navi MY left to defend for the crystal. Zaishi onto the top lane. They don't want any idle moments here for TLPH. They want to do everything as fast as they can. And now 4 members in. Soju on the bottom side. Rina getting hit out. AOJ!
Good purify out. Now with the sustain out, Ramisi goes in for the shurikens and the shadow kill again out the Fafao in the back line. Still able to get the isolation on Remen. The SOD now landing. Rina to be caught as well. Has a revitalized claw. Jumps back in. Has a bit of nature. And baits out Rina, but she's still able to survive. Dike goes in for the dark wave. And Ramisi cleans up in the back. Wow. Navi Malaysia stuck now under the crystal. The missile arrow goes wide as a pin down on Hani by Claw. And she goes in for more piercing shots onto Rina, onto Sha. That's a double for Claw and the crystal to follow.
And that's going to be it. Team Liquid 3H regaining their confidence and their strong willpower and extending the series onto game number 3. What an adjustment and what a play here for Ramisi as well. Just throwing those shurikens, targeting the back lanes themselves.
Wow.
And even Daiki, right? This is a better performance compared to game number 1 alone.
That was so different. And I think it has to be, again, because of a very all-in or nothing type draft from Navi Malaysia, right? They kind of put themselves in that situation where, yes, if they win the early game, it would have been great. But TLPH, they're a team that you can't really do that to, right? Like they're even in game 1, even in an early game win position for Navi Malaysia, TL were able to recover a lot of times. They were able to stay even in the mid game. And here, man, that setup was just too much for Navi Malaysia to handle, even with the snowball comp.
You just got to keep a cool head here, and I'm not surprised for the game 3. We have the mother and daughter of all seers onto the panel. Speaking of which, it's your turn, Lafel and Chantal Brigida.
Brigid Chantel, man.
My thoughts exactly, Athena. So someone has a reputation to really maintain, and both Brigida as well as Chantel has maintained their reputation. How do you guys feel? Like, you guys did it? We're going for game 3? First since yesterday.
Probably, I think we looked forward for game number 3 prior to this game. But yeah, I just feel like for TLPH, they just knew how to adjust against Navi MY coming to game number 2.
There were clear adjustments made. Even like in terms of the bans that they did, you kind of get an idea of what they already want to do. But this time, they make it work.
I gotta say, in this game, Ramichi, she really locked in. She was like, okay, you know what? Let me stay quiet for this one, and let me just execute. And she executed so many people.
Hence the smile earlier that we saw. And yup, for Team Liquid Philippines here, in terms of the drafting, better like structure. I mean, everything is on point, including a hero that could be up front. Surprisingly for Clash, or I think for Clash, she's just surprising everyone that she can do. Very good performance with any hero. So you have even Ramichi here, 606. This is very different against the Joy earlier, but it means that she knows what to do if they are on the lead early game or if they are lacking in terms of gold.
Yeah, they maintained it so well, honestly, against the Navi MY, who I feel clearly weren't able to make use of how well their skills could have layered together. We were hinting towards the curtain call and the AOG, or potentially even the Selena jumping in and contributing to the engages that they can start off with through the Abyssal Arrow. But even the casters highlighted this. Even when the arrow lands, like, it doesn't make that much of a difference. You're not as confident to go in.
I kind of feel like we almost have to rewind the game all the way from the first 3 minutes, where earlier on even Rina was killed during her farm, right? So I kind of feel like the mid trio coming in from Team Liquid just ensured that Rina popped off yesterday, so just make sure that she doesn't get to do that again and let Ramichi do her thing. And it sounds like a very simple game plan, but very effective.
Yeah, I think that's the reason as to why the priority of the items, if I'm not mistaken, for Daiki also was the Antikiras, just to somehow limit the physical abilities and even some of the factors in the game. And if we look at the goal difference, it's just really Team Liquid Philippines winning majority of the resource taking. So there was a lot of a difference in terms of the itemization or the items that they got. Even on the map control, very evident here for game number 2.
Yeah, I saw almost 3,000 gold difference between the Hayabusa as well as the Lancelot here. So yeah, honestly, a very fast, I would say, reactions coming in from Team Liquid. It's like, yeah, we lost game number 1, but don't let it discourage us. Just do better, and that's what they did. They did better.
Yeah, this is a game where Team Liquid definitely felt a lot more comfortable playing their lineup, because game number 1, the way they drafted that, again, knowing fully well what they were getting themselves into, it really looked uncomfortable for Team Liquid. But this time around, even with the sudden need to switch things up, because I think a lot of us would agree that the plan was different for the jungler here of Team Liquid for this particular game, but it was such a massive adjustment done by Coach Moody, and it helped them get through this game.
Probably for Coach Aish, into game number 3, I think the Gatot isn't advisable to be picked as early as the second 2 picks, because it was their pattern from yesterday, even the Lancelot, so they could actually have an X Factor type of sequencing in terms of their pickings of the hero. Yep.
And we saw how Ramichi really popped off in this game. So let's actually look at the jungle difference here, because again, looking actually surprisingly, average KDA is not that much, but if we look at damage per minute, now that's where it really made the difference, where I kind of feel like Rina couldn't even enter the team fight compared to Ramichi.
Yeah, even the few times where she did try, those were the moments Team Liquid were already grouped up, so they had ways to answer back immediately. Even just a simple, well-timed dark wave coming in from Daiki already denied Rina of whatever tempo she wanted to set through the punctures, through the thorn roses. So that already was enough. We barely saw Rina actually pose a threat to Team Liquid in this game.
Yeah, I think the only time that there was an actual damage or actual threat from Arena was when the moment they were trying to defend their base, and it's not advisable though that you have two heroes from TLPH that could actually dive. And all in all, for TLPH here, Ramizi, yes, was in the zone, just like diving at the back lanes of Navi MY. So if you're Hani and even Falfao, there's always a threat. Hey, maybe Ramizi is gonna be here anytime soon. So there is the disruption already in the pattern, like their formation in defense and even offense. So yeah, I think that's about it for TLPH. Ramizi just had a great time with 303 in the early stages of the game, and even securing majority of the objectives because also of Daikis and even another sustained hero.
Yeah, somehow this series, it's proving to be somehow a battle of the draft.
Yeah. I would agree.
The way that there's been such a big difference between the drafts of these two teams in the past two games played such a huge role in how the game eventually played out, because we were talking about all these flex options in game number 1, and that was clearly lacking from Team Liquid. But in game number 2, we saw the, as you mentioned, Gatot and Lancelot priority, which again kind of limited the flex options for Navi MY, and now it's them who somehow struggled because they actually wrapped out the first phase with a CC2. So it's very clear where these
very
are
honest.
going.
Yeah, and now this is our first 3-game series, courtesy of the both of you. Thank you very much, by the way. And I think this deserves to be the qualifying match to go to the knockout stage. And I would say for both games, it does feel one-sided for Navi MY in game number 1, and game number 2 was for Team Liquid. So in terms of how strong they feel, I kind of feel like at this point, like you guys said, draft, yes, but also kind of subjective. But if I were to lean towards, I would lean towards a little bit towards Team Liquid, because even in game number 1, when it was clear like the draft wasn't in their favor, they were able to hold out long enough and potentially even won that one.
Yeah, I would agree on that. I think it was a stretch to game number 1. We have the split pushing capability with the heroes. I think it's something that we could see on game number 3, not unless there is a specific strategy for the other team that could go for the snowball.
Yeah, because Team Liquid knew their macro so well. And Navi MY clearly have to find a way to, just the same way Team Liquid did it in game number 2, maintain that if they get it in game number 3.
And now we have a quote coming in from Rina. Of course, we've prepared something special for the match against Team Liquid. Just look forward to it. Most people know me for playing assassins, but who knows? I might pull out a fighter or tank jungler. You'll have to wait and see. Well, if we have to see, we got to see in game number 3, because this is literally the last opportunity they have for any kind of surprises.
Yeah, because even like yesterday, I was talking to Owl, like an Indonesian talent, right? And I was asking her, how familiar do you think Rina is with non-assassin junglers? And her only response is, yeah, she could, but probably it's not the same way we know her to play assassin.
Oh, does it mean that Navi MY, specifically Rina, really prepared, or
Could be.
or
A
maybe
Tigreal
the-
jungle.
Yeah. Why not? Wait. Well, maybe well, possible. So yeah, I think it's something that Team Liquid Philippines has to be prepared. But knowing that they could also do that,
Actually.
it all boils down again. It all falls to the idea that they shouldn't really prioritize heroes that will limit the flexibility or versatility of their hero composition.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you really change that, you're changing the identity of Navi MY, where the win condition for them is Rina as well as Fafao. So if Rina is using someone to really support, either a fighter or a tank, then you have to have a second win condition, which logically speaking, it has to be Honey. And at that point, it's a good idea. We've seen plenty of teams having mid as well as gold to be the win condition, but that's one of those things that you really have to practice before putting it into play in a $500,000 championship.
For Hani though, in I think the most recent tournament we saw her, again, it's been the Selena, which has been her go-to pick, and then following that was the Kimmy. But nowadays, the Kimmy in the mid isn't that often.
It's like
It's always banned. To be fair, it's always banned.
Yeah. So let's see if Hani does have other plans in mind, because as of now, Badang and Moscow immediately taken out for Navi. What could be the priority here?
Yeah, and same question goes to TOPH, right? Because they actually switched things up. They banned out a different hero. Both Uranus and Baxter was opened game number 2, remember?
Yeah.
So I think they will give again the YSS, if not Zetian.
But that's these
Hey,
that's the Farsas, the Zetians open.
Yeah.
So
But they
never
banned out the
mind.
Farsa. Okay, so the question here is, since TLPH lost against the YSS of Arena game number 1, if they ban it out, then the left open heroes would be
Kimi? Kimi is
I
open.
just mentioned it earlier.
Yeah,
Now it's out. What?
Why not Kimi?
Yeah, Kimi is open, and the Baxia got banned as well. You just have to be careful of Ramichi because, her assassins are good.
Yeah, I think that's a trade. We open up the YSS, we get the Kimi because yesterday TLPH played well with the Kimi. And also it means that in terms of early game, they have high deep in okay.
But they got the Kimi.
They got the Kimi. Let's give YSS to TLPH. So TLPH, they have the option to go Arlot and YSS.
Yeah.
If not
Or
other
Arlot and,
Phobius.
I think
Too much.
I think they actually want them to take the Yisun Shin because, like I said, like having the Kimi going up against something like a Hayabusa, Lance Link, that's much scarier.
Yeah.
Like Yisun Shin is an amazing hero, but at least the Kimi feels fine. But this does come back to our topic just now, where if you do want to put a tank or a fighter in the jungle, someone else has to carry. So now maybe they're good on their word. Maybe Rena's gonna show something else.
And they go for the Gatot Kacha instead, which
This is a classic Aster Chris. You say don't, and then they're like, actually, wait, did she say do or don't?
Even yesterday, I wasn't proud when I suggested the Harith, but there was a Harith.
You weren't proud of it, but hey, you were correct.
Anyway.
okay, so they went against our advice and picked up the Gatot Kacha.
I think Phobius is a good answer here for Navi MY. But it depends on the early game of the YSS. Probably a glue still could be a nice
I don't know.
option.
I feel like Akai Arlit, Fredrin Arlit.
Akai Arlot.
Yeah, that would be pretty good too. Yeah.
How can we forget the best duo in this tournament?
We don't like Akai. Hasn't really shown up yesterday. Hopefully today's different.
Not unless the surprise Rena's been talking about was
Okay,
never mind.
she lied.
Now, never mind.
Just like Mirko said, you kind of have to lie every once in a while just to throw your opponents off guard.
He still went for the Lancelot, okay, but not at around the same time where they did earlier.
Yeah.
Now they have sort of a clearer picture as of what may go on to Team Liquid Philippines. But with this, could the CC be a possibility for Team Liquid at this point? So they have direct
So
answers.
just did what Navi MY did in game
So
number
they just
2 where
switch
they
it up.
lost.
Because if that's the case, that's going to be the exact same.
All right, so Zetian.
Yeah,
It's just it, yan. Okay, so more on control actually for TLPH. It's just that I think they need one more hero to be up front because you can't really rely on Gatot alone in terms of doing the initiation. Okay, so you have the assassin or the jungler and even XP lane, probably the mid lane also for Navi MY. You can ban out the other EXP laners now for TLPH just to limit the possibility. I'm not sure if Boss 5 Phobius is an option or it is viable, but yeah, as much as possible, limit that one out, or probably more on the marksman. Here's Granger, Irithel, something like that, because you don't have, there is the Granger ban, so they're limiting the gold lane, but there's a high chance actually for Navi MY to go have the Ruby gold lane maybe.
Never mind.
Okay, they ban. Oh, never mind. Sorry.
Why is it every time you say something, it just
They ban
like
it.
goes the opposite way? But they took out the Ruby. So
Just wait, Brigida. Your time will come.
my time will come.
There's a time when a caster matures and they get it wrong every single time.
I must say Esmeralda now.
If it pops out,
That's intentional.
So, wait, I mean, who knows, right? But the ban on the Ruby is pretty interesting.
I thought they are the ones to get
Yeah,
the
'cause-
Ruby actually because they have Kimi as the mid lane. They have the option to go.
I mean, we assume
Yes.
he's going to the mid, right?
Yeah. Ooh.
Now that's a flex. He can go gold, he can go mid. Don't assume.
Team is banning.
Okay, they take out the Irithel though. So the XP laners are wide open still.
Yeah. I think for Navi MY, they can get
Glue,
Glue
maybe?
though. Glue, yes, Glue. Although, Glue possible?
Like the dashes though.
No, I mean like for Team Liquid, so like
Oh,
ban out the
okay.
glue so that Team Liquid
Ah.
doesn't get the glue. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Not unless they have another surprise ban to show us here.
Okay, what's the surprise? Esmeralda?
Esmeralda. No,
Alright.
just kidding. Maybe the Lapu might not come out again, considering the draft died now.
And the C.
So they
Okay.
took out the CC instead.
For Navi MY, they're just focusing on having winning lanes.
Yep.
Particularly for the EXP lane. I think that's the science between the Ruby ban. Also, just for the sake of not having someone stop even the Lancelot and even the Phobius early game. So now for TLPH, you
You
have
see like a Harif? Because it's been banned out for 2 games. And we saw Kla use it yesterday. Again, not the best of performance, but if we
It's
look
still
at
there, yeah.
if we look
Wait,
at the
it looks-
gold lane, it's really starting to get chopped down in terms of the options.
It
I've
looks
been waiting for
good
too long.
together with the
Picking.
Zidjan and the Gato. Never mind.
I think,
So this
I
is the
think they saw that there's a Phobius on the other side, and even the Lance. Although when we say Lancelot, it's a lot easier for the Lancelot to target the carry and even the YSS. So it all depends on the other front line of a TLPH. So you have the Phobius. The EX lanes are kind of limited. I'm not sure if they will take the Rizla on this game. It's gonna be hard. Not unless Mathilda Phobius combo, but I don't see the advantage of having Mathilda with.
I mean, now that you
Lancelot.
say it, they might go for it,
No,
right?
Yeah, sure.
the Matilda Lancelot, even though it's not
Mathilda
that
Kimi
like.
is nice.
But the Matilda Kimi, yeah, it can be. But there's a carry, so they have to worry about the potential
Well, there's the
spread.
Akai and the Harry. So we say both heroes just a little bit too early.
Yeah.
Now they come out.
And for the different team.
And for the different team. Yeah. We were actually drafting for the other one.
Yeah.
You guys were just tricked, you know?
What? Okay.
Pos 5.
Or the Gato might just be
They're pos
the
5.
boss 5 already.
Yeah. I'm actually thinking Gatot Rome here might be a little bit better because the glue is still there, and I kind of feel like it's still okay to lock down some targets. Because even if you think it's hard to go for the Lancelot, just wait for all the dashes and then just pull him back in.
The Kaido.
What if they get the Minotaur?
Oh!
Okay.
Okay.
I actually like this.
I like it too. The
You guys say you like it, but for who?
the Minotaur.
The Minotaur, yeah.
So you guys like Team Liquid? Oh, you know what? I gotta say, I did not see that one coming. I think Mirko as well as Eterna didn't see that one coming. That both our panel really like Team Liquid. But hey, I'm gonna ask you guys, who do you guys think is gonna win this one?
And for this round, I do believe that Eterna and Mirko didn't see it. Even me,
Yep.
Athena, for
Yeah.
that one. But
Yeah.
it's going to be the final game here for our first matchup, Navi MY versus Team Liquid Philippines. But Mirko, talking about
5
the lineups here
seconds
and
till
the
the enemy
Minotaur
reaches the
being shown for
battlefield.
TLPH. Thoughts on this one?
I don't think you want my answer. I answered last game. We know what happened.
Yeah. Okay.
Both have equally strong drafts.
My mistake. I'm
Yes.
sorry. They're both strong, especially onto the early game.
Oh yeah.
They're really strong. And speaking of the strong competitors here for both of our emerging powerhouses here on MWI, there were some adjustments and heroes that are new to our eyes. Even though the Akai was picked certain times yesterday, we could see it rise, but I like it better here onto Rome.
Yeah, especially when you have a composition like this, right, with a Kimi as well in the mid lane.
Yeah.
You just want to peel, and it's great if you have someone to peel. But for the most part, especially in the jungle, I'm not a fan of the panda. I'm sorry, right? To all the panda lovers out there.
But we said it, right?
We said it. We said it. Gotcha, panda lovers. But in the mid lane so far, yeah, Hani's been able to do a good job. Zaishi completely zoned away, body slam forward. Oh, there you go. Hani getting some damage back sent towards her. Let's take a look at the emblems.
Okay, well, checking on this one, of course, you have the concussive blast here for Raymond. You want that extra layer of defense as well.
Wow.
And usually, though, you would want to disrupt the whole plan here for Team Liquid. Even with Zaishi's ultimate, you could just, oh well, time to go for the heavy spin. And for that round as well for TLPH, counterpart get the Tacha there. But hold on, Kla being doubled down here by Fafao and Ramon this early.
Yeah, she popped out the regen, gets cancelled by the Synchro Vision too, so she's gonna have a lot of problems now in the lane, just waiting. Ramisi,
Yeah.
waiting in that bush. And Hani walks up. This could be a free kill. Mountain Shocker up and available. But yeah, Hani's a bit too smart for that. Stays away from the bush.
Misi just holding back for now. First turtle up for grabs. This is the second Lancet game for today for Reina. Daiki just loading them out for the first blood, as you mentioned, right on cue here.
Yeah, Hani walked up way too honest. Like LaFell said, you gotta lie. Rina hasn't lied so far. Nothing new, just with the Lancelot now. Double man, Dark Wave shot! Wins it out, but that's a massive CC tool to bring them all back. Shaz caught all alone. Has the Dark Wave, gets everyone on it, and will be able to walk out with a win!
Wow! And that's how you play a Phobius, causing phobia here for TLPH. Yeah, you got advantage for the first blood here for Misi, but who's the queen now? First turtle stolen, and then plus follow-ups here by Shaw. Just solely dominating 3 members here from TLPH. Let's take a closer look here on their instant Lupe, where he's just getting ready with a Dark Wave, and then there goes the Infernal Pursuit. Not only that, getting a kill plus a turtle. So much risk here for Sha.
This Fury already used up. Thorn goes live. Can't we? We can see Clark struggling. Redmond, the assassin in the back, is giving the traces from Ramisi to look for the gap closer, but Hani is able to escape as Redmond takes the long way around the enemy jungle to escape. Mid lane, though. Oh, this turret is gonna take a beating from Ramisi and Zaishi.
Definitely going to be somewhat capitalized on by Zaishi and Ramisi. Merman here, sorry for the bad slum, but still, we have to talk about action-packed clashes here happening each minute for Navi MY and Team Liquid. 2-3 on their kill score, around 100-0 in favor of Navi MY. But one thing is for sure, Kla is really having a hard time. First death, by the way, earlier here. Onto her. Eyes are on her. They just not letting her out of their sight here for Navi MY.
Yeah, but it really just shows you how scary, how terrifying a Phobius is in the early game, right?
Yeah.
Like, that Turtle 1 was literally just dictated by Navi MY, but it wasn't a team. It was just Sha going in, getting those massive Dark Waves, constantly proccing it on multiple members. That's plural.
And that is how you maximize, right? Even onto the smallest of the passive. Now, another turtle, second turtle of the game up for grabs. There's going to be a jump here by Raymond onto Zaishi.
Okay.
Soju eyeing out Sha. She's like, hey girl, she's here right again. What's the plan here? Dark Wave won't hit, but Ramisi being showed out.
Oh, good time
Heavy spin.
Karina, that's good heavy spin as well. Daiki still in the back now. Sha is all alone, but is able to isolate the rest of the team from the turtle. Daiki doing the same thing, has the AOG though. But look at Sha jumping back in now onto Zaishi. Forcing a flicker. Minis Fury coming down now with Kla. Still able to get the damage done. Meanwhile, Ramisi rotating up top already, trying to get something more from the stray, but in the mid lane, Fafao has already cleared it up. Hani going with the laser beams onto the turret now. Daiki trying his best to clear it out and will be able to do so.
Even though that was a successful defense here for Team Liquid. But speaking of which, let's hold it on. Rina being chased down.
Walks up forward. Ultimate there as well. The fadeaway. Rina taken out as Hani tried her best to save her, but won't be able to do much.
I was supposed to say that took a lot from Team Liquid just to take down the shot. And onto the mid lane yet again. They don't want this game analyzed at all.
No, they just want to brawl it out right now. And it's TLPH who've been able to get the better of these brawls. Rotating to the bottom lane. Good clear from Hani. But she's got to be careful here. 4 members of TLPH have stationed down below Hani.
What?
Wow.
Very nice dodge here for Hani, even without the Purify itself activated. But for TLPH, going back to what we were saying, like, it took a lot from the just to take down a shot alone, right? But it started with there. You just need to start somewhere. And looking at the goal difference, it's not much of a lead right now for Navi MY. Leads into the favor of Team Liquid, but Papao and Clad just doing their jobs as well, destroying out their turrets onto the top and bottom side. And looking back here onto Navi MY, yes, Sha has that sustainability, you have that innate tankiness, but you really has to be careful onto those kind of jumps. Just do it when it is really necessary, because sometimes you're like, if you're missing, Navi MY will be left defenseless, right? There are no frontliners here for Hani. Papao might be targeted, but right now, body-to-body defense.
Under heavy spin, but it's onto the back line. Daiki was free right there. Now the traction pulse, almost landing on Chana. So giving the knock-up as well. Midas Fury still held down by Soju. Shot! Dark Wave onto all of them. Luckily, taken out before that can happen. One more shot with the Traceless. Ramisi doesn't go for a Traceless backwards instead with a Zaman Force used by Fao to clear up the wave in the mid lane. Now, Rina holding the position. But she won't go for it. A big taunt again over Remen, and she will be caught. Daiki gets away with the AOG. 1 HP. The turtle buff gets her a shield too.
Very nice escape here for Daiki. Finally, first turtle here for TLPH. And that is what we're talking about for Team Liquid. If in the early game, you have too much to handle here by Sha alone, with 5 members, it's enough. There takes just seconds for her to be torn down. Plus, I like the fact here that Soju is really proactive, not only onto the hills, but also onto trying to put herself onto the line just so Ramisi and even Class could get that position for the free hit. Quick switch onto our insert replay, that is exactly what happened. Plus, they managed to push over Hani, just go back home here. And Fafao with the Zaman Force just to try and escape and scat here.
Yeah, I can see the satisfied reactions there from TL.
Yep.
Getting the team fight win and turning around what looked to be a great start of the game for Navi Malaysia.
And now the lead is on to TLPH, 1.4k net worth. And even with the conceal play predicted by Soju, no one will be targeted here except for Daiki being followed up.
Cancel's coming down. Oh, the AOT! Straight into the front as Ramisi capitalizes. And look at the damage. Clad just melting down these frontliners. Ramisi with the triple, looking for one more, and it will be Clad to take away the Maniac. Wants to go for a double for herself. You can see laughter from Daiki, from Clad as well. They know they've got the game in the bag now. All they need to do is stay disciplined.
They have to be really consistent on the targeting the perfect players. Speaking of which, on the STC replay, very nice side over there for Ramisi. She's like, oh, there you go. There you have it. And then Papao, even with the Zaman Force, the speedy light is just too much. And this is what I'm talking about, the reaction from Coach Moody. Giving it a standing ovation with a takedown alone. A triple kill here for Ramisi.
I don't want to flex, but I got a picture with Coach Moody just earlier in the lounge. So just I hope that doesn't curse them actually. Now Mountain Shocker over the shot. Good poke over. TL still holding onto the neutral objective. Rina looking for an angle again. Daiki holding that position. Looking for the taunt in case Rina walks up.
Okay, going for the unbreakable. Perfect position here just to prevent someone from going on to the back lanes here for TL. But Kla continuing the damage onto the Lord. Sha as well, trying to somehow reset it. But Soju isn't having any of it. Daiki onto the front. Rina finding an opening.
Sha with the steal. Somehow able to find it. Now jumps into the back line. But Class able to get rid of her before she gets even more. AOG landing on Rem and Soju looking to follow up as well. TL have dropped the ball on Lord. Fafao looks to be cornered here. But there's no way TL can push forward without the Lord in their hands.
Imagine, out of all the people there, just banking on Ramisi, you can do this. Clara, you have the damage as well. But Sha will be able to disrupt the process, take the Lord, even at the cost of her own life. But if it means to defend, extend the round, they'll take it. Team Liquid on the other hand, 3k gold lead still. Looking at the items, looking good here actually for Club with a 4-1 for KD as well. But the Golden Sap and the HS right on track. Able to tore down, nail down the Lord as fast as possible. Now Navi MY finally has the space to push off turrets onto the outer.
Anti-Chorus built up by Soju. Rina in the bottom lane, just clearing that out. Sha, 1 and 4. The KDA has not really reflected the performance, the level of impact that Sha has had on the game. 1 turtle, now 1 Lord. And also an early win for the team, all in the hands, single-handedly, of Sha.
She is definitely the game changer, game setter actually here for Navi MY. We need more of that. Navi MY needs more of that. They really want to take the lead here for Team Liquid. But on the other hand, considering how things went, Team Liquid needs to rethink of their strategies, who to prioritize, what to expect, on where will Sha come from, right? You have this Soju with the beautiful setup play. You also have the motivation roar, but you also need a bigger setup here for TLPH, preventing that from happening again. You have to learn from your mistakes and moving forward here. They're on the offense, breaking off the inner turret on the bottom side. Sha just eyeing out. How many members are here? Even the orange buff stolen from Navi MY.
Somehow, the Arena still holding her own. Level 14 to level 15 of Ramisi.
Yeah.
Daiki over the top, won't be able to find it. Sha gets away just barely, but up top, it is going to be the shove over. Endless battle picked up by Arena. Again, not that far off, but look at the damage dealt. This is the impact that you just don't see from the KDA. 38,000. She dealt more damage than Zaishi and Klein. They're on the winning side. Hold up, traction pulse. Almost finding Zaishi, forcing a flicker out. But now, you see L.
That might be a go. But Sha, inflicting a lot of damage there. Yeah, I do agree with you. Never judge a KDA by its cover here for Sha. And looking at what she has to offer, she's putting a lot onto the table right now. Huge contributions. Clash-wise, or even micro-wise. Now the Lord, being rushed off by TLPH, not leaving anyone unchecked right now. They're going to take the W, but Navi MY continuously just shows around the map, relieving some of the pressure onto the lanes.
Yeah, this time there's no chance for Sha to get her hands on the Lord.
No
started,
chance.
they completely committed onto it, seeing that some of the members from Navi Malaysia were actually looking for a trade instead of the team fight. I'm guessing just because they're not confident enough in their items. Whoa! Sha jumps into the back claw, still able to kite away that melting damage.
No.
It's a fadeaway on Rina too. Claw on Fafao. That's a double for Claw as Daiki gets away with the AOG, and Ramisi sets up for a 3-way push into the base of Navi.
That is a mission success for Team Liquid. Rina, Sha, and Fafao out. Hani and Raymond left to defend for their base. This might be a GG for TLPH!
An assassination from Ramisi! A desperate move from Remen to save their chances of qualifying early. But it will be TLPH. Team Liquid make it to the knockout stage of MWI 2025.
It's going to be a reverse, and TLPH finally getting the groove back onto their heads, causing a stampede right on. If I was on stage, I would have just clapped hands with Soju.
Yeah.
Soju was like, can I get a high five? Don't worry, girl. I'll go later. I'll give you that high five. But still, props to the whole draft as well. The adjustment, we could definitely feel it for Game 2 and Game 3. What a smooth performance, solid performance here for Team Liquid.